Hello, Zach.
Hey, you
Zack
doing?
Simmons from Goatwhore, man. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Great. It's a great day over here. I live in Florida, man, Jacksonville, Florida. So it's sunny and beautiful. We have a beach nearby. So,
Right on.
and
Hell
like you,
yeah.
I just got out of the gym, so I'm feeling good.
Nice, man.
I'd like to
Hell
stay
yeah. Gotta
slim
do
and
it.
yeah, strong. Much
Yeah.
gratitude. Let me just extend some gratitude for you doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man.
I just want to say a couple things and then we'll get started. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me start by saying, I mean, the first exposure I had to the band was in April in New Orleans, and my wife and I just happened to be attending the French Quarter Festival, and she was up for seeing some metal that night, which was unlike her at the time, and so I took that to heart, and we went by Santos, and you guys happened to be playing that night with
Yeah, yeah.
Heracleon and the Brat, I think it was,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep,
Yep,
and
yep.
man, the level of intensity, just this explosive energy that came from you guys, I was a casualty immediately, and
Right on.
you
Hell yeah.
guys became all consuming, and I went out and got a bunch of vinyl, and I started really from Vengeful Ascension and just kind of went backwards to the first album that you recorded with the band, The Haunting Curse. And just, so, because right away, just some of the things I really admire about the band were of course, your stunning drum skills, man. I mean, it does,
Thank you.
when
Thank you.
you see it live, dear Lord, I mean, and,
Thanks a
but
lot.
yeah, and anybody that's listening with headphones on those albums, and then Sammy has just got this prodigious guitar riffs that just go on and on. It's this infinite amount
Oh,
of
yeah,
riffs in
man.
each song. And Ben's vocals,
Totally.
he's very unique singer. His vocals just kind of slice through the mix, and I like that he doesn't sound like any other death metal singer. He really puts a fingerprint on what you guys are doing.
Yeah, for sure, man.
There's just a lot of care and authenticity that comes out, man. It just really comes out, and it's brutal and brilliant at the same time.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Let me start with a question regarding the new album, man. Angels Hung
Sure.
from the Arches of Heaven, October 7th. I've got it pre-ordered, of course. Can you share like the vision of the new album? How long did it take, and are there any special anecdotal behind the scenes stories that stand out, maybe in the studio or something?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton. Let me think back. I mean, we never really stopped writing, I guess, from when we were finished recording Vengeful, and we still had things in the works that we had probably 3 or 4 songs that we just weren't finished, and by the time we got in the studio, so so we just kind of put those on the back burner, and then we keep working on them, and then so we never really stopped writing the album between albums or whatever. So that just kind of carried on into and songs started adding up, and especially during the pandemic, we really took that time to just was like, all right, let's just write as much as we possibly can, because no, sometimes once you have like 13 solid song ideas that are pretty fleshed out, you're like, all right, that's good.
Yeah.
And then you make plans, you go in the studio and just record them, and you kind of stop. But since there was no like real rush or pressure, and nobody really knew what was going on with the world in general, so we just kept piling up material and working on songs. So I think, man, we had like close to 20 like pretty finished songs, and once it was, everybody kind of, things were starting to lighten up a little bit, but there's a lot of pandemic related restrictions still going on, so we booked studio time and somewhere it was 45 minutes north of New Orleans in Bogalusa, Louisiana.
Right.
So, close enough, but it was a really nice studio. It's called Studio in the Country, and like Kansas recorded all their, biggest records there. Cinderella did a record there. It's just it's a cool place, and you live on the property. So we basically spent 5 weeks up there, and we'd only go into town once a week just to buy food, at the grocery. And so we had lived in a house on the property and just immersed ourselves in the work and the project, So that was really cool, and just having the extra time that the pandemic kind of afforded, as shitty as it was for everybody, we kind of used it to our advantage, and it's like, all right, well, let's try to make this what we're doing the best it can be, and really put the time and thought into it, and along every aspect of it, as far as even recording it, and then when it came time to mix, and then master, and then artwork. It just seems like everything was like really we put a lot of care and thought into it, and it luckily, everything kind of worked out in our favor, because sometimes, you go into a record with, the best intentions and the best approach, and sometimes it just doesn't come out the way you envisioned, or because when you have so many different hands and different minds on the project, sometimes it gets, it loses, it gets off track a little bit maybe. But
yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the evolution kind of from A Haunting Curse to Vengeful Ascension, because I noticed that your drum, especially the drum sound, has changed over those years from what.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. And I really love the sound that your snare is getting on Vengeful Ascension. Even from the first album though that you played on, I do get a sense of all the drums and you can hear everything clearly, but it just seems like that snare on Vengeful Ascension is just I don't know what to say about it. It just, for me, it's a personal preference maybe. I mean, what do you think?
Right.
What's your?
Yeah, I think it maybe for me as a drummer, just from it probably comes with years of trial and error, and also personal taste, and just kind of learning what you like yourself to sound like, and learning how to tune your drums better and stuff like that, which comes with just time spent with the instrument and everything. But I think in the last two records especially, we're definitely going for a little more of a natural sound in the studio, and Vengeful definitely had more of a kind of like a room sound that we're trying to capture.
Yeah.
But the snare tone itself, I mean, I've been a fan even before Vengeful, but just like a really thick, beefy metal snare drums, and then I think on Vengeful, the tuning was a bit lower to get a little more of the more body oriented snare tone. Then
it sounds a little more refined, and
yeah,
even the guitar, like the guitars on Carving Out the Eyes of God, is like it almost sounds like Sammy's plugged straight into the deck there. But on Vengeful, yeah, like you said, I get that room sound. Like you can almost feel the hum of the amplifier,
Yeah, totally. That's definitely what we're going for. And
so you had a new producer too, right? You went from Eric to Jared Pritchard.
Yeah. So basically, Jared engineered the last two records, and he was our live sound man for a long time too. So he really knew what we were going for, and we were trying to capture our like live energy in the studio, because we felt that we hadn't really accomplished that yet at that point. So I think Jared really helped us try to achieve that, at least, of just trying to capture the vibe of what we try to do live,
Right on. Well, I think the new track, Born of Satan's Flesh, is really it sounds refined, and it sounds like Goatwhore, but it sounds a little more mature and refined. And you can really feel the devil on your ass in that song, man. It feels like it was forged from years of immersion in the genre. And it's, again, the arrangement, and in that song in particular, but of course all the songs, but in that song, at the end of the song where you kind of cut down each part in half, it seems like, and you just run through the chain. Oh my God, what a great idea that was.
Yeah, it's pretty chaotic, huh?
Well, on first listen maybe, but I remember the first time I heard this song, I was, because you're always a little trepidation there, because you got a band you really like, they come out with a new album, are you going to like it, all this jazz, right? But
right.
But wow, when I heard that, immediately became one of my favorite songs that you guys do. And
right on, man.
I think before that I was kind of into Under the Flesh, Into the Soul from Vengeful Ascension was kind of like my top, although it's hard to say, man, you know how it goes day by day,
Oh yeah, totally.
So when are you guys touring next? Because I know you tour all the time, but I don't see anything currently on the website.
So currently, I mean, we just basically, since May, I think we've done 76 shows from May until end of August, just in the States. So currently, the only thing we have officially booked that we could talk about right now is Europe in January, February.
Okay.
But between now and the end of the year, I'm pretty certain that we'll be doing some more stuff in the States.
How about festivals, man? Like, why am I not seeing more festivals with you guys?
Well, the summer Europe thing had already come and gone, and we already had the tour, the Incantation, already planned.
Right.
So that's something that we're definitely gonna be looking at for next year, and since the album will be out. So this last tour, it was kind of we kind of saw it as like our last tour for Vengeful in a way,
right?
And also kind of like a precursor to the new album. So once the new record comes out, we kind of want to let it marinate before we really start touring on it hard.
Okay.
And let it get into people's skulls, and then we'll like fully, start touring on that record and playing all those songs live.
Yeah, my only caveat with that is when I saw you guys in New Orleans the first time, I had no idea of any of the material. And it was still just amazing. Just blew me away. Loved it, Now, I will say that when I saw you in New Orleans at the end of the Vile Ascension tour that you guys called it with Incantation, yeah, it was great to know the material. It really was, because you feel like you're in the driver's seat. And yeah, when you guys opened up with Under the Flesh, I was just like, oh, freaking yes. Amazing. I loved it. Yeah. Like PBR in one hand and Goatwhore on the stage. I mean, what can you...
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, it was great. And so I went to it was funny because I went to the Orlando show hoping to catch you guys on the first day of the...
Yeah, man, that was a bummer.
Oh, boy, was it. For everyone involved. Like, I was heartbroken. There were people at that show that were heartbroken, man. Not just me, And
yeah, we definitely owe it to Florida to go down and.
Well, I hope so, man. Because I'll be there when you guys come. But when you guys didn't show, I was just like, you know what? I've been to New Orleans. I used to live in New Orleans, so I'm well versed at the city,
cool.
So I was like, I'm buying a plane ticket. I'm just going to catch that last show of the tour. And I figured you guys would be on the money, and it's kind of like the hometown, right? So I was thinking that's going to be a great show, man. No question about it.
Yeah, you had the right idea, man. There was a lot of people that flew in for that last show from out of town. That was cool. It was a good one.
Yeah, and I like the Incantation guys too. I kind of got into them and some of the stuff that they're so different from you guys. It's a great kind of dichotomy to see both bands together.
Yeah, it was cool to have a bill like that where every band kind of stood out and did their own thing within the confines of the extreme metal.
Let me ask you, man. Do you what other genres do you listen to or gravitate to?
Man, I'm pretty much straight just rock,
Okay.
Some old rock and roll, any type of rock and roll, and pretty much rock and metal, man. But
okay, I remember Sammy saying the same thing in an interview. Yeah.
But after a tour of just playing and hearing extreme metal every night, when on my off time, man, it's pretty much just old Motorhead, Lynyrd Skynyrd, and shit like that.
Right on.
Sabbath, of course.
Yeah, Sabbath. Yeah.
And Bon Scott, AC/DC, and yeah.
Yeah, I just saw an AC/DC cover band recently that was fantastic, just brilliant.
Right on. Man.
What about you? Who would you say some of your influences are?
Definitely number one would be Black Sabbath for sure. I used to just be Ozzy Sabbath, purist snob, but nowadays, I love Tony Martin. I love every era of Sabbath. So
yeah,
Sabbath number one, hands down.
Okay.
Motorhead, of course, and then just as you get deeper into kind of what Goatwhore is influenced by, of course, like Celtic Frost, Bathory, and Venom, of course. The kind of standards, and then from there, I love finding new music and stuff too. So I'm always kind of searching around for that, and so there's always, there's so many bands coming out, these days. So there's never a shortage of things to listen to or get influenced by. But I definitely kind of always stick by the tried and true, ones I grew up listening to.
Right on. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Black Sabbath, Motorhead, really. Do you have certain songs in the Goatwhore catalog that kind of percolate to the top for you? Are they like some favorites, or are they all just like your baby and you just love them all, or?
You know, it kind of changes. Sometimes, like sometimes I'll listen back to an older song, and you'll kind of like, oh man, I wish we would have cut that part down, like
Right.
you know, or like extended this part. So you kind of get that kind of that hindsight when you know when you're that close to the stuff and you spend time working on it. But then when it comes to like playing songs live, sometimes we'll try out a song that we haven't played live before, and then it just doesn't really come across live as the way we thought. But you never know until you try, So then, you kind of know what works and what doesn't work. And then sometimes there used to be one song I just like. I think I was just burnt out on playing it live because it was off of Carbon, and we had just toured that record relentlessly, and I was just tired of that song, so we didn't touch that song live for a long time.
What song is that?
Shadow of a Rising Night.
Oh man, I like that one, man.
So we brought it back on the Goatwhore tour that we did in June.
Okay.
And it was a blast to like bring that back. I was like, oh man, I forgot how fun this song was to play live, and I felt silly for like kind of shunning it for so long.
I like the All Destroying on that same album. There is also another kick-ass song. I think you guys have played that live. I've seen some footage on YouTube.
Yeah, we played that one a bunch. Yeah, it's a fun one to do live too.
Sure. What was what would you say the first album you purchased for yourself was?
Actually, I think it was Black Sabbath, Paranoid. I think it was that, and then I think the second one, I think it was 8 or 9 years old, and I was in Germany visiting my grandparents because they used to live over there, who worked for the Department of Defense, and I was at the PX, the military little market, and the second CD I bought with my own money was I think it was Kiss Unplugged.
Oh wow.
But yeah, that's a good one too.
How old are you?
Just turned 36.
Okay, 36. Yeah. I was into Kiss big time, but many years ago. Well, the Vengeful Ascension artwork for me is eclipses of all the other albums. I mean, I just love the idea of this demon blotting out the sun, right, with the disc.
Yeah.
I think that is just it's super concept. And how, like for the new album, how do you guys collectively decide, or do you bring things in, or do you commission an artist, or how does that work?
Well, the artist that we've used on the last probably 4 records is our really good friend Jordan Barlow. And
yeah, he did Vengeful, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he did Blood for the Master, he did Constricting, Vengeful, and then the latest one. But
okay,
he's a good friend of ours. He used to live in New Orleans, great tattoo artist. He's done a lot of our tattoo art work over the years, and then just a great artist in general. But normally Ben will come to him with a concept, because Ben's always thinking about these really cool kind of deep concepts and stuff, and he'll throw an idea at Jordan, and Jordan will kind of run with it, and within like the kind of guidelines Ben will give him. Jordan's really good at just kind of, working within those, but then doing something just like totally just knocks it out of the park,
Right on.
Especially within like trying to keep something simple, but like also, along the lines of a cohesive concept. He's really good at nailing that.
Yeah, well, Vengeful was a home run. I mean, I love the way you guys put the poster inside too, and all that.
Oh yeah, it's really cool when you pull out that big poster. And
dude. Oh yeah.
Artwork.
It almost reminds me of like Led Zeppelin 4 when you open the vinyl, you open the album, it's a double album, right? And you've got, I'm just saying in the arc of the demon going up like that,
Yeah.
And so, of course, as a fan, I always have, I really respect the commitment that you guys have to make to be in this band, in a death metal band, period, and the love, you do it for the love of the music, because I know that there's, you're not selling out stadiums. But when you have a tour where you go from August 1st to August 27th, like the one you just completed, and you only have a single night off, it's amazing the endurance that must go into that kind of schedule. I mean, what keeps you going, man? Like, what?
Man, I think, I don't know, it's funny because on this last tour, I mentioned a couple times to my bandmates, I'm like, man, I think I'm finally old. It's like, man, it's like, yeah, I think, yeah, that this, especially, playing in that kind of headlining slot too. Your first one's there, last one's out, and it's just long days, and then especially with yeah, like you said, like 1 or 2 days off in a month. My main focus, especially being a drummer, is wake up and I just obviously take hydration seriously. You just got to hydrate throughout the day, and it's just kind of like from the moment I wake up, I feel like I'm kind of building into trying to feel somewhat human, and then I feel like the best I'll feel all day, like right before we go on stage, and then after the show, after we're done playing, it's like I'm exhausted again. It's just like a repeating, like kind of repeating daily thing. But yeah, it's a challenge, man. You just got to try to take care of yourself, and
Yeah, I imagine.
obviously stay hydrated, try to rest, but also you still want to have some fun, have some beers after the show. So it's all about balance. But
Yeah. The
yeah,
I wonder about that. Like the laundry and sleep and showering. Like, how does that all fit in? And then the travel on top of it. It's just
yeah, it's kind of, dude. It's kind of like just try to get it in if you can do it, man. If the venue has a washer and dryer, just fucking get it done, Or yeah, then it's tough, man. Because sometimes you're like, man, I gotta go. There's a shower at the venue. I haven't showered in 3 days, and I gotta go get all my shit. I'm tired, and you
right.
just gotta do it, man. It's
Right.
like, it's always a pain in the ass, but
But it sounds.
what it is.
I mean, it does sound exciting too at the same time. But like yeah, as you're getting older, I'm sure you get closer to 40, you start thinking, wait a minute, I need some time.
Yeah, it's all good though. I mean,
Yeah.
Whenever I catch myself like even remotely bitching about playing in a band or touring, it's like I have to kind of like hit myself. I'm like, dude, come on, man. You can't be complaining about
Exactly, dude. Power through the adversity. Yes, dude. Love that mindset. I totally agree.
Like,
It's like working out, man. You just get it done, dude. It's a job.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Exactly.
You got to have some gratitude and kind of look at your perspective too. It's like, all right, man, look at the flip side here. Would you rather be working in some factory or whatever else,
Right.
Or playing music for people that are stoked to see you. It's like,
Right.
dude, it's great.
You're doing your art, man. It's your art, and
Yeah, totally.
and with your kind of talent, it needs to be recognized. People need to see and witness that. Let me, if you don't mind, I'd like to do like a little short answer thing. I would like to just give you a few names, and you just give me a quick.
Okay.
I'll start off with. Let's just go with Neil Peart.
Man, the professor, man.
Yeah.
Technician. He's you had to really thoughtfully construct his drum parts, but also keep it tasteful and play to the music, but also keep it interesting for drum nerds like myself.
Dave Lombardo.
Oh man, probably the greatest heavy metal, extreme metal drummer. He laid the foundation for this style of drumming, and he kind of gave a benchmark for drummers to work off of to make it, more extreme, and is what it is today, man. He not only speed and aggression, but he had power and feel, and totally unique, man, and a total legend.
Yeah. Okay. Bill Ward.
Bill Ward, kind of pretty much along like a predecessor to Dave Lombardo, he laid a serious foundation, not only for a whole genre of music, but also his approach to, like, with his blues and kind of jazz background, and that swing and feel that he had was really added to Sabbath's sound. I couldn't imagine hearing Sabbath with just like a straight, just to the grid, feel, but he just had his own thing going on, and he inspired I don't think anybody playing metal would be here without him,
Right. Fair enough. Nick Menza.
Man, one of my favorite Megadeth drummers. Obviously is playing on Rust in Peace. I mean, what a first record to come out with, your first record with a band. But he was a great addition to Megadeth, and probably my favorite Megadeth drummer. And yeah, rest in peace.
Great answer, man. I really love the way you stuck that as your favorite because that means a lot to me. I like to hear stuff like that. Nico McBrain.
Man, another legend, and it's funny because I don't know, it's easy to forget that there was a drummer before Nico, but Nico really took the reins of his job in Iron Maiden and really made it his own, and created his own spot in the band, and he's totally irreplaceable in that band, I think.
Yeah. I had some others that I was just going to say: Alex Van Halen, John Bonham, Mitch Mitchell, Terry Bozzio. You were mentioning some of your influences earlier. Very cool to hear.
Two. Mickey D is probably one of my favorite drummers as well, and Tommy Aldridge.
Oh, I thought about mentioning him, but I didn't. Yeah, he came up with my ideas.
Tommy's great, man. I love his. He kind of goes full ham, especially on like that Ozzy tribute record, But it's tasteful, man. He's throwing in all these extra fills, but it works,
Yeah.
And it's.
Did you ever hear that? What about Carmine Appice with that Blue Murder band? Did you ever hear that debut album from Blue Murder?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had
It's been a while, but
yeah, there was some cool stuff on there.
There was that, and then what was his first band? Cactus. Was that it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a familiar with Vinny's discography, but yeah, Carmine, man, he's a legend in his own right, for sure.
Let me come back to Goatwhore for a second. How has Robert Coleman changed the chemistry of the band?
Man, he's just
he seems solid. I mean, at the shows,
of course, man.
Yeah.
He brings just an intensity live, man, and not only as being just a solid human being and just easy to be around, and
Yeah.
just level-headed, but he just brings it live, man. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like he's playing the same bass guitar as the same model as Tom from Slayer, right?
Yeah. So I guess ESP only made like three of those per year, like the ESP models, and they made them for Tom. But I guess one year they made one extra, so they gave him one of the good ones, because normally they just give out like the LTD versions of the Tom Araya model. But TA lucked out and got one of the actual Tom Araya models. So yeah, it's a nice bass for sure.
How did you find out that before you joined Goatwhore? How did you find out that they were looking for a drummer? Or how did you come about being in the band, then?
Well, I was a big fan of the band, and my local band actually opened up for them and Immolation and Grave. It was like right before Funeral Dirge was about to come out, but they were selling it at the merch table, so I bought it, a couple weeks early, and then I'd like just periodically go on their website and look at whatever news they had,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw that they're looking for a drummer and anybody who wanted it to audition, learn these 6 songs, and email Ben and set up an audition. So, I kind of built up the guts to email him, and I learned the songs and figured out a time. I was still in high school, so I had to fly down to New Orleans on my spring break. And then, so I flew down, auditioned, flew back, finished going to school.
Yeah, wow.
And they're like, all right, well, you got the gig. Here's this list of tour dates. And I'm like, well, I gotta graduate first. I'm gonna graduate in like a month, then I can move down there.
Wow, what a story, dude! Straight out of high school, right into on the road.
Yeah, I was 17, and then graduated, moved down there, and then my first tour was Black Dahlia Murder on their first record, Goatwhore, Cattle Decapitation, and then the second tour was DSI Goatwhore. I think Cattle was on that too, and then into Cannibal Corpse, Napalm Death. It was just like 3 tours just back to back, just like kind of thrown to the wolves,
Wow. God, that age, man, that's freaking awesome. You could write a book, man, about this. Who's
pretty nuts when you get back to it.
Is there a favorite performance that like sticks out in your mind?
Man, I guess recent performance, we got to do. We played Psycho twice actually, but we in 2020 2021. Yeah, we were like a last minute addition. They, kind of invited us to play at like maybe 4 days on 4 days notice, but we played the arena stage. So I mean, we were just happy to have the opportunity. But yeah, so there's something about just I thought we played great, obviously, and then I don't know, just the whole situation ended up working great, and so that was a definitely memorable performance for me, like recently, that sticks out.
Yeah, I can see why that would be exciting. And when you play live, do you have like a pre-live ritual of some sort to prepare for the gig, or do you have like what's the last thing you do before going on stage, or does it maybe you don't have a routine, but I don't know.
I end up having like a total routine on tour. Normally, I mean, it even starts out, even after sound checks. And once sound check's done, normally like we'll go find someone to eat real quick, and then I'll like take an hour nap, or maybe even just like a 30-minute, just like close your eyes and just rest, and then kind of wake up, start moving around, and then definitely like an hour and a half before we're supposed to go on, I'll just start kind of gradually warming up and stretching and just kind of getting mentally prepared for the gig and everything.
Do you mingle in the crowd before the gig ever?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we're always just kind of walking around. It's not like we like hide or anything, but
Right.
Yeah, most of the time beforehand, I try to like, part of like my mental preparation is just kind of like being kind of somewhere kind of alone and just kind of stretching and just getting the blood flowing.
Right on, man. Awesome. Well, man, I don't want to take all your time, but I'm really excited about the new album. Congratulations on
Thank you.
yet another recording with the band. I think you really fit into this band well, and I mean, obviously, you've got a supreme talent. I'm glad that you're sharing it with the world and doing what it takes to whatever sacrifices you're making. It's appreciated from the fans' perspective, man.
Hey. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks a lot, dude. I'm looking forward to the record coming out, and yeah, thanks for all your appreciation for what we do.
Yeah,
and,
well, you've got my support,
really
and I'm sure you're going to run into me at a future show at some point, man. There's no question about that.
Oh, definitely, man.
Yeah,
so.
especially
Definitely.
in Florida. But all right, man. Well, thank you very much, and keep kicking ass out there, man.
We'll try, man. Yeah, thanks for your time, dude.
All right,
really
man.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Zach. Take care.
All right,
See
later,
ya.
man.
Bye.